This is Wright Brennan, and I'm here with Morgan Nichols, and this is another episode of Lost in the Midlands. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And Morgan, you've got a really impressive resume. Clemson grad, you were a genetics major, Miss Clemson, you Miss South Carolina, and you're doing a lot of awesome stuff now. So we really would love to hear more about what you're doing. And I can't say thanks enough for coming. So if you would you just walk us through your journey to where you are now?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me, and all that you all are doing is so wonderful. But I grew up right here in the Midlands. I went to Lexington High School, so Midlands born and raised. Then I found myself off to Clemson University, and it's funny because my whole family raised me a Gamecock, but right at the end I decided to rebel against them. But growing up, I was always good at science. I always enjoyed science, but I never saw a woman doing science. So never really saw myself going into that kind of career path. But I actually interned at Nephron Pharmaceuticals at West Columbia. They are a leader in manufacturing generic respiratory medication, and that was the first time that I saw a woman doing science. So Nephron is a woman-owned business. The CEO, Lou Kennedy, was a huge inspiration to me. And so once I saw all of those women leading and succeeding in the life sciences, I knew I wanted to do just that. So went to Clemson. I have to say I was there from a pretty good time period because we had a great football season while I was there. Enjoyed it a lot, but majored in genetics and absolutely was just enthralled by the whole field of DNA and proteins and the advances that were being made in that industry. And I like to tell people, we didn't really have a lot of textbooks when I was in the field of genetics because everything was so new, from genetic engineering, genetic therapies. It was just intriguing. And so fun story there, that actually led me to compete at Miss Clemson. So I never competed in any sort of Miss America, Miss South Carolina preliminary before. Never really competed in pageants growing up, although I wanted to. Never really thought that I was cut out for it. And so I just decided to go for it, and I knew I had this great passion of science, and that was what my social impact initiative was. So in the Miss America organization, you have a social impact initiative that you further, that you address, that you pretty much use as your platform to inspire others. So went to Miss Clemson and somehow was honored to receive that title, and that actually led me to Miss South Carolina, where I also received the title of Miss South Carolina, and I was the first Miss South Carolina to have a STEM background. So it was awesome to kind of bring that to the forefront, and it's been quite a journey, and wow, have I had such a great support system, and a lot of those have been right here in the Midlands. So it's been an honor to really just be involved more in the Midlands. I've gotten to interact with so many wonderful nonprofits and people doing so many wonderful charities, and then advance my own. So I've teamed up with the Celebrate Freedom Foundation, the Coalition for Science and Math in South Carolina, to the Rural STEM initiative as well, to really advance our STEM education in our state. And I talk a lot about this word called STEM, so let me tell you what that is. It's not the stem on a flower, but it's an acronym actually, and it stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. So all about creating our 21st century workforce.
I've recently learned a lot about STEM. I'm glad you explained that for us. Why don't you tell us, what are some of the benefits of having that STEM education for a student who might be, coming through the ranks as a, high school student or college student?
So our jobs have changed tremendously over the past 50 years thanks to technology. And I like to say that technology is helping to augment jobs. They're not replacing jobs. We need people to work right beside technology to ultimately help them continue to have jobs as technology continues to grow. So having that STEM education really from the beginning is essential. It's essential for our future workforce to be able to meet the needs that the industry needs. And frankly, if we can't keep up with that demand, then our communities, our states, our country is going to be left behind. And of course, I don't want to see that happen. And I want South Carolina to be that leader in STEM education. And I think that comes full circle because South Carolina is manufacturing heavy. We are really good at making things. And we are seeing a rise in 21st century manufacturing. And that is exactly what you think it is. Robots moving things along the assembly lines, AI, artificial intelligence going into all of the data. I mean, so much cool stuff. We've got to make sure that our training meets those demands. So it's been my goal, my passion to inspire people to go into those fields, to get them the right training, to connect them with industry, because I'm a hands-on learning person. So I really inspire young students to take internships, to have real-world experiences, and to ultimately, like I said, just inspire those people to go into those fields, and especially those young women into those fields.
As far as Nephron Pharmaceuticals goes, it sounds like you did intern there for a period of time and you worked there as well. Can you explain that a little bit?
So I worked at Nephron Pharmaceuticals, which, like I said, is a leader in respiratory medication manufacturing. And I worked there for 2 years, so got to experience a lot of different parts of the company.
Yeah.
And I think one stereotype people have when it comes to the life sciences. So let me define life sciences. That consists of pharmaceuticals, medical devices. It consists of the hip replacement your grandma could have just gotten. I mean, a wide array of jobs. And a lot of people think, I have to have a PhD or I have to have some high-level education to be able to go work in there, and that's not the case. So I got to experience just a wonderful, diverse set of jobs at Nephron Pharmaceuticals. So from the manufacturing techs, the quality techs, to the PhD pharmacists and the quality engineers, all the way to the CEO, Lou Kennedy. Really got to shadow her and just was absolutely inspired by that role. And that's one of my main pieces of advice for people looking to go into the life sciences or who might like science, is there's so many more jobs than you could ever imagine.
You've also worked at South Carolina SC Bio? Is that correct?
Yes, SC Bio, that is right. So after working at Nephron, like I said, I got really, really close with the CEO, Lou Kennedy, and she was such an incredible role model for me. And she actually was the board chair of a nonprofit around South Carolina that was dedicated to growing the life sciences industry. So SC Bio is a life science economic development nonprofit association around the state of South Carolina. And the CEO of Nephron actually leads that company, and that's how I got connected. So SC Bio is devoted to helping companies grow. So helping those companies that are providing grandma's hip replacement, or helping companies that are pretty much, saving our lives with medication, and helping companies grow that are doing COVID testing right now. So it's all about helping the industry grow, helping the industry thrive, and I have gotten to do some amazing work. But it's been such an honor to work there right now, especially because we are deep in everything related to the coronavirus pandemic. So everything from helping companies if they manufacture nasal swabs, and some healthcare companies might be in need of nasal swabs, helping them connect. We are also working with Nephron Pharmaceuticals as they start expanding to begin manufacturing vaccines. So when that vaccine is ready for the coronavirus, Nephron is ready to fulfill those. So it's been really exciting, it's been really rewarding, and we're hoping to continue that as South Carolina becomes a leader in pharmaceuticals, medical devices, and diagnostics.
So, to a company or individual who's, interested in supporting STEM education, or, supporting STEM education, what can they do to help? How can they contribute?
So you can definitely contact me at the Miss South Carolina organization website. That's miss-sc.org, and I would love to come speak to a wide range of people. So I have talks and speeches targeted to K through 12 students. So I do a lot with those kindergartners, elementary schoolers. I have a new DNA bracelet project that's always really fun to do with those students to excite them. And then for the higher ed and the high schoolers, teaching them about the jobs that are available that are also expanding. And then to those professionals, telling them about the workforce development that's happening in this arena and what it looks like for the future, especially after the coronavirus pandemic. So definitely contact me. I would love to come and talk with you and talk with others that any way I can help.
You mentioned, just to kind of backtrack for a second, you mentioned that Nephron was doing a lot with the current, crisis that's going on. And is there an expansion? Did I read that somewhere that the organization has expanded to help, fulfill that need?
Yes, so multi-million-dollar expansion happening right now at Nephron Pharmaceuticals, which is absolutely huge, not only for the Midlands, but for South Carolina.
Yeah.
And this expansion is going to add 400 jobs to the Midlands, and it's going to be about filling vaccines. So once that vaccine is ready, Nephron is ready to fulfill it. And I believe it's the first 100 vaccines that they produce, they want to ensure that they go to South Carolina residents.
Awesome. That's exciting news.
I know, and it's really exciting too, because STEM education, we're seeing those jobs be of so much purpose right now, and that's what I like to tell those students: is you are changing lives, you are saving lives, you are increasing the quality of people's lives. My dad was actually diagnosed with prostate cancer a few years ago, and he was pretty much saved by a robot that took out the cancer. And so it was just amazing to see the engineers, the scientists, the surgeon all work together to ultimately save my father's life. So with STEM education, you're definitely making a difference.
I know that you've done some work with Celebrate Freedom, and we have also visited their amazing facility and seen the helicopters. Have you been to the helicopter grounds and seen?
So right, I not only have been to the helicopter grounds, but I flew in a helicopter.
Oh wow! Okay.
So that was the first time I ever flew in a helicopter. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little nervous. But what an awesome organization and an awesome mission. So I actually met the Celebrate Freedom Foundation a few weeks after I won the title of Miss South Carolina. And once they heard about my STEM education initiative, we found we were really an instant click. And I loved what they were doing for the veterans in our state, to helping kind of repurpose their mission to inspire kids and to show them what STEM is all about. So the Celebrate Freedom Foundation, for those that don't know, they do a lot with STEM education and bring around these helicopters, these choppers, one of which I got to ride in, to rural areas of South Carolina in Title I schools who usually don't get that kind of experience. To show them what they can become and show them opportunities in STEM. And so getting to team up with them has been so special. And like I said, getting to meet them, but also getting to learn each of those veterans' stories and how that organization has impacted the veterans themselves who are working there. Has just been a tremendous blessing, and I am forever grateful to partner with them. And luckily I have a whole other year to hopefully continue to partner with them and figure out how we're going to continue promoting STEM education around the state, despite the schools being a little less open this next year.
Thanks so much for coming. I want to give you the opportunity, if you have a message that you would like for our viewers that I haven't hit on, please by all means.
Well, I think we are all going through some tough times right now, and this coronavirus pandemic is affecting us all differently, but at the end of the day, it's really affecting all of us. But it's all about how we see the world differently. I like to say 2020 vision. We're in the year 2020. We're seeing with 2020 vision and not seeing the world differently. And I've definitely seen the world differently through this whole experience. But I hope that people understand and can kind of relate that with my STEM education platform, because it's not only providing people with good jobs, but it's also providing people with the ability to make a difference. And at a time like this, when people need those doctors and those nurses and those researchers and those biomedical engineers more than ever, I hope we can really inspire this next generation to ultimately make a difference, especially here in the Midlands.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for coming. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.